Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, September 5th. Got a short week here after Labor Day. First, quick look at the indices. I'm not worried about this at all right now. SPY, QQQ, RK, IWM, everything pulling back a little bit, but over the key moving averages, right? Went back over the 50, so I'm bullish. All right, that's it. I'm going to keep it as simple as that. SPY, QQQ over the key moving averages, RK still over that 20 day moving average, IWM over the 200-day moving average, 200-week moving average, that is over the 50-day moving average. Let's see, RK, that is the in between the 20 and the 50-day over the 20 weeks. So everything still looking good from that perspective. So let's head on over to the morning show. Not a ton of news out there, but some interesting updates. I am going to give you a major update on Overstock, so stay tuned for that. CCJ, uranium. Okay, big theme. Uranium's been exploding over the weekend. People are excited about uranium names. You can see URNM, the spot uranium miners ETF, up 1.5%. UUUU up 2.676%. You have DNN up 3.5%. Why is this happening? First of all, uranium has been on an uptrend. We know the long-term bull thesis on uranium, and it's been starting to play out recently. Then what happened was CCJ over the weekend came out with a production shortfall, forecasting that the production will be down at two of their mines. It's down. The stock is down 3%. If you look at this production outlook due to mine issues, and you can see at one of the mines they're expecting 18 million pounds, and there's going to be 16.3 million pounds. Another mine they were forecasting 15 million pounds. You're only going to get 14 million pounds. So that, at least on the superficial level, is a bad thing for CCJ. However, I tell you, there's an analyst out there. I don't think it's in this news feed. I think I saw it out on Twitter. One of the analysts came out this morning and actually raised the price target on CCJ. Raised the price target on CCJ because this is crazy. This reminds me of like the diamond industry and De Beers, right? So there's like less, you know how they artificially held diamonds back and then the price went up, right? Now this isn't artificial, I don't think, but CCJ with mining issues means the price of uranium is going to go up. And so the remainder of the uranium they have, once it's their turn to do these lock in these long-term contracts, they do like 5 to 10 year contracts, CCJ. So if you get a spike in uranium prices here in the near term, depending on the cycle of when the contracts have to come out and be signed, CCJ could be signing contracts at much higher prices because of their own issues. That's pretty interesting, right? So we shorted a little bit of CCJ this morning and already covered a little bit. I'm seeing, I think we can go to the 20 DMA or the gap fill. So the target would be 20 DMA at like 35.43. Here's a few different numbers. Okay, we have 35.43. We have the bottom of this tail, 35.15. You have the gap fill here at 34.67. I'm not sure I'd be willing to bet below that. Okay, maybe that's as far as you get, and then maybe you got to go long CCJ. At least if it's a long-term investment for sure. Shorter term, going to be really crazy to predict what happens here. Like, it's my guess down and then up. I doubt it goes green today, but you never know. That analyst came out and gave it like a $55 price target. But maybe a good way to play this is long uranium, short CCJ, and then look for the support levels in the CCJ and close it out. Something like that might be a play. Also, I've heard some sentiment, which I think makes sense, that I agree with, that uranium could peak out like this week, at least in the short term, because there's so much euphoria over it. Uranium was trending over the weekend. As I said, the stock chart's already been very strong here for URNM. And now with the production issues at CCJ, people are getting real excited about the price going up. So you could see like a short-term blow off top today or this week, something like that. So just be careful. But yeah, I was trying to get uranium this morning. I didn't. I was trying to do long uranium, short CCJ. I was bidding early this morning and it just didn't go through. But I think that's a reasonable play. Long uranium, short CCJ, but don't get too greedy on the short CCJ. That's going to find a bottom probably sooner than most people think. Okay. All right. So that's the uranium play. Now, Intel had a little bit of news this morning. As far as like big caps, we look for like big cap tech stocks that could do well. Samsung had some good news, but we can't trade it. Was it Samsung or Panasonic? Actually, hold on. Now I forget. It's Tesla. Tesla had some news this morning. Yeah, with Samsung. But this is a pink sheet. I can't trade it. I don't know what that is, that 53 print. I don't even have a chart for it. But Samsung, this is nice news. If I could have played Samsung, I would have. But Samsung basically going to be major new win for camera modules for EVs, all right, for Tesla. So there's that big cap news, and then there's Intel. Intel, the news, not as exciting. Intel notches new foundry arrangement with Tower Semi. And I guess it says Tower Semi is maybe going to spend $300 million. I guess it sounds like, I'm not 100% sure that it sounds like that 300 million is going to Intel, but I'm not 100% sure with how this is written. This $300 million investment that TSEM is making in, some Intel factory. I'd rather it be Intel that's actually building these semiconductors instead of Intel just like giving them their manufacturing facility. But in any case, that's maybe some good news. And if you look at Intel, really interesting. You got a triple top here, and it's above key moving averages. Look at this. Top of this candle around 37. Let's just round it out at 37. All right. You have a triple top at 37 here, and it was a double top. If this breaks out above 37, I could go to like, as a swing trade to like 46. And that's just looking at it technically. I don't know enough about this deal and what else is going on with Intel to say, hey, there's fundamentals behind this. It should go to 47. I don't really have that insight. Okay. So, but Intel could have a good day on this TSEM news. I don't have high conviction on it just because I don't know that sector really well. I'm going to skip over stock because I want to come back to it at the end. I have a major due diligence update on Overstock you'll want to stay tuned for. Okay. DWAC 10 a.m. Critical news for DWAC. If they do not get this vote extension to pass at 10 a.m., the stock could quickly crater to $10.25, which is going to be the cash payout that DWAC will have to pay their investors. If it does pass, I don't know. Like, honestly, I don't think it has a lot of upside left if it does pass. So risk reward, I think, is to the downside. So I'm not sure how this news is going to come out. Looks like there's no live stream. So I'm sure the news will, be leaked out, and some insiders will have that info, shortly after 10 or 10:30, and there'll be some trading on it. A press release probably won't come out till later in the day on the results of that vote. So this is something we may be looking into playing this somehow, maybe with puts or calls or something like that, with the downside being much bigger than the upside. So DWAC is on life support. Either it gets one more shot at staying in business, or that's it. Okay. Wow. All right. That's the story with DWAC. GNSS had some good news this morning, but then apparently some bad news that's not in the feed. The good news here is they got expands the contract with Vietnam for $1.9 million. Now, I don't know what it was before. This latest order brings Vietnam total investment generated since 2009 to 4.8 million. Okay, you can actually do the math on that. So it's 2.8 million between 2019. Okay, it looks like it is a little bit of an expansion. If you average out that 2.8 million over 3 or 4 years, and you add another 2 million, does look like it's a little bit of expansion, could be a little bit material. But then the stock dropped. I'm like, why is it dropping? I contacted Chris. He told me Roth is out with a note that they lost Florida. They did not win the Florida contract. So he gets support here at 325. Remember, they were on TV the other day touting their California system in reference to what happened in Hawaii, but they didn't win Florida. Now, remember, they did win another state, and that has not been announced yet. That was in the conference call. So they do have some good things going on. It's a shame they didn't win Florida. I'm not going to sit here and tell you the ramifications of, the fundamentals and what the company is worth. That's really up Chris's alley. I guess we'll probably, if he's available, we'll talk to him tomorrow on GNSS. Just explaining the price action this morning, why it didn't go up on the Vietnam news. It's because of that Roth note out that they did not win Florida. All I'll say is there is some support at 323, 322, 20 DMA here, and that might hold. If it doesn't, you get 310, and down here 295. I really don't think you're going to go below the 50 DMA because they won the other state recently, and this Vietnam. It's probably a buying opportunity on GNSS. Ram, a little bit of news. CEO Chris Pavlovski comes out, press release says he will not sell his shares when the lockup expires on September 16th. And he has quite a lot of shares, so perhaps there was some pessimism built into the stock price, and the stock may move on this. I don't love this catalyst. To be honest with you, I don't think it's material enough to send the stock flying today. But we're watching Rum. It's approaching that 20 DMA support here. I will tell you that man, the traffic up on Rumble has been exploding recently, as far as I can tell, especially with live streams. There's a ton of live streams going on, and to me, it seems like record levels. And I think it's associated with the Trump indictments. But on the flip side of that, this has been going on already, like from at least a couple quarters with all the Trump indictment news and increase in traffic. Yet on the conference call they just had a couple weeks ago, um, I guess it was here on this big candle down, that didn't really have an impact on any of their key metrics. So I was disappointed in that. So I'm just watching Run with curiosity right now. XXII, a little bit of news this morning, which honestly I think is a short. I think it's a short. I'm not sure that would short it at 128. If it pops, it's a short. It did pop, right? But if for some reason this thing goes like back to 140, 150, 160, I'd short this thing. They came out with strategic alternatives, initiate strategic alternatives process for its tobacco assets. When I saw that headline, I'm like, uh oh, they're going bankrupt. When you read it, they don't talk about bankruptcy as a strategic alternative. However, it might be in right here where it says other options. So let's just read this. It says the process will include consideration of a range of strategic, operational, and financial transactions and alternatives such as business combinations, asset sales. So the bulls got excited this morning about business combinations and asset sales, licensing agreements, all alternate financing strategies, and other options. Bankruptcy. Yeah. So yeah, XXII. I'm not going to touch it here at 127, 128. Maybe I should have had some balls and shorted it at 140. But if it goes back into the 140s, 150s, 160s, something like that, I might just actually short this thing. Things don't look pretty over there. All right. Steakhouse Foods, another company that, man, let me tell you something about Steakhouse Foods, though. We covered this with you a couple months ago after it got into the news with Netanyahu and Israel, like tasting some of the food. And then we did a little bit of research and we saw they're going to be raising money forever, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars these guys are going to have to raise before they reach profitability, right? But then there has been a series of good catalysts in terms of trying to monetize this maybe sooner than I had expected, basically licensing out their technology and selling their technology to other companies, right? Rather than them basically making the food themselves and then selling that food, like let's say a Beyond Meat. They seem to have shifted their business model towards selling their technology to other companies that want to make the meat. So they're already starting to bring revenue in. And this morning, here we go, launches 3D modeling software for use by clients, ushering a new era of 3D. So they're basically trying to set themselves up. They kind of see this whole era of manufactured meat, and they're going to be the supplier of the technology for all these other companies to make the manufactured meat. That seems to be the trend of all the press releases I've seen in the last couple of months. But I will tell you something that's interesting here. They raised money about a month ago, 6 million direct offering on July 27th. Okay. Let's take a look at that. July 27th. Guess what? The stock went up after they raised money. They raised $6 million. The stock went up. And since then, I mean, the stock's not really down that much since that offering. I guess this is the Netanyahu news was here when it was about 75 cents a week before that or so. So this is a little bit, maybe tradable is what I'm trying to say, right? It looks like there's a lot of support behind the stock. They do an offering, it goes up, right? They're kind of changing their business model. So maybe press releases like this can be a little bit tradable. I got a little bit, like 18 shares. I got a partial fill at like 95 cents this morning. So, but in any case, that's the story. I'm going to keep my eye on STKH. It's proven in the last few months that the stock can do well on Catalyst and it can do well on news. So just putting that out there on STKH. Let's look at the moving averages, see where we're at. It's which candle is this? That was September 1st. Okay. So September 1st, it reclaimed, went briefly below. It didn't even, but went briefly below the 200 DMA, almost reclaimed it Friday. I'm not making a big bet on this. Again, another one I'm kind of watching with curiosity. Let's put it that way. Okay. Steakhouse Foods, Rum. that with curiosity, not making a lot of big bets. XXII, watching if it goes up too much, might be shorting it. LLAP, they launched one of their satellites this weekend, I believe. There's no press release. It's out on social media. So successful launch of a satellite from LAP over at Lockheed Martin. Expecting lots of huge news on LAP in the coming weeks. Whether it's them winning, they will. They have them. They've already won it. I have this confirmation from IR that this Lockheed won a big tranche of business from the U.S. government, and a big chunk of that business is going to be fulfilled by LAP. I have that from IR. It's just a matter of when that contract will be finalized and announced, which should probably be in the first week or two of September. So we're right there. So we can have that news any day on LAP. Other thing is, I'm not convinced they have enough money. I think they might need another raise. So a lot going on. You know, what comes first? Do they get a raise? They get this Lockheed Martin contract? When does Rivada announce that they have funding? A lot of things going on, mostly for the positive. Okay. And we just got to watch that news carefully. When the right catalyst hits, boom, this thing's going to be a 3, 4, 5 bagger in a few months, is my prediction. We'll have to wait and see. And then just watching, I don't want to follow up on Lulu this week. But Apron, the chart has been really, really strong on Apron. So we're looking for continuation on Apron. And RRGB, the news was really good, I believe, last week. So I'm looking for a move back up towards that 11 to 12 target I gave you last week. SMCI, maybe today's not the day with the market being down today, but I'm looking for a clean breakout here and a move to $298, $300 on SMCI. EOSC, I don't like this as much at this point. Just monitoring that maybe for opportunities or gap fills. The news was covered last week. Okay. So, oh, by the way, let's look at Tesla. Tesla, I think at this point, there's a good chance it's going to hit the 20 DMA. By the way, there seems to be a lot of pricing pressure in China. I saw I think from an analyst early this morning that says Tesla has more room to drop the prices in China, and they left more room because of competitive pressures in China. So maybe this makes a move to 240 at the 20 DMA, and then we'll take it from there. 20-week moving average, a little bit lower here, 232 or so. All right, let's get to Overstock. I'm going to do this quick because I got to get ready for my day. Oh, man, look at uranium. Schnitz. I wish I got that this morning. Should have been more aggressive on the bid. This is a good stock to have to counterbalance a short on CCJ. Okay. Overstock. So a couple good things, or let's say one good thing, one bad thing. All right. Let's start here. Last Wednesday, we had Sean, I forgot his last name, Sean Gaines, at our due diligence session Wednesday afternoon on Zoom. Okay. If you remember, I had asked him to do some homework regarding that 80% rate, right? That 80% of order numbers turn into orders. And I said, well, how do you know that? Can you go back and look at your old order numbers to confirm that? I was trying to get that from him, and he didn't, I don't know, he was pushing back, and I couldn't get the numbers. And then I noticed someone else in social media say, hey, Sean is wrong. The order fulfillment rate is more like 25 to 35%, somewhere in that range. So I started digging around and I started asking people for order numbers. Show me your screenshots from the past year. So I did get some order numbers from different people from data from last year, and was able to correlate that with the actual orders fulfilled data that the company gave us, right, on the quarterly reports. You can go there and you can compare the order number differential from actual placed orders to the actual number of orders that was reported by the company. And then I was also able, after a lot of pressure, I was able to get screenshots from Sean on orders that he did earlier this year. And so I got data from all different time periods over the last 12 months. And I did the calculations myself. And in every case, it came to 30%, which means not 80% of order numbers get turned into orders, but 30% of order numbers turn into orders. All right. So that is a big deal in terms of the calculation. You know, we were thinking, oh my gosh, revenue could be doubling from July to August. So when I ran the numbers again, I actually now found out that revenue may be up 20 to 25% July to August. And that would assume the same basket size as July. Is the basket size smaller? Is it bigger? That I don't know. Is it the same? I don't know. But assuming the same basket size, you're talking only about a 20 to 25% increase. Now, if you consider that this quarter is going to be 2/3 a quarter of Bed Bath and 1/3 a quarter of Overstock, if you go out and do that math, you'll see that that would translate to a sequential quarterly increase in revenue of 10 sequential quarterly increase in revenue of 10 to 15%. I don't have that. Let me see. Oh, no, I'm not going to go into my photos. I don't know what's there, but actually it's in the app here. Check this out. All right. I think it's here. So if we go to Overstock here in our app, I think I have the chart which compares revenue to price. Here it is. Okay. If you compare this and you do a 10 to 15% increase in revenue, it gets to a point where, okay, the stock price after this quarter, after it's reported, we can kind of forecast that the price will be in the 35 to 40 area. All right. If you extend that orange line, do a 10 to 15% increase in revenue quarter over quarter. Can't do it clearly here, but you can do it yourself. The price would correlate with like $35 to $40. So that's a far cry from we're thinking, oh my gosh, this stock can double overnight, triple overnight. That, oh my gosh, revenue is up 100%. We could get a press release from the company any day that revenue is up 100%. That was all wrong, unfortunately. So I'm no longer expecting a press release from the company. I'm no longer looking for like a rapid reflation, re-rating to $50 to $100. Now revenue's still up, and we're still looking at 35, maybe retesting these highs. That could happen when the quarter is reported. But a couple caveats here. One is that we're sustaining this order number rate for the rest of the quarter, okay, in September. And, I had thought, oh my gosh, that's going to be a tall ask because their 25% coupon is gone. 25% coupon's gone. And now what? Like, how are they going to sustain those order numbers in September to be able to even get to the 10 to 15% sequential increase? Well, it turns out they've been doing Labor Day sale. And yesterday, let's see where we're at this morning. In the mornings, they're not going to be as high, but let's see. Okay, 6. Anyway, 6 is yesterday hit 5. 5 was the highest I've ever seen it. 5. It was right behind Walmart. Now it's at 6. Maybe we're going to hit 5 again sometime later this afternoon. So things are still going well at Overstock. They're pushing these sales out, and it's bringing back. They're doing like 20% sales. I think got some exciting stuff going on. If you go to their app, let's just quickly look at this. All right. If you go to their app, they have all kinds of sales and make it exciting. Here we go. Oh, now it's 25% on its living room furniture. Okay. Living room deals 25%. You activate it. Coupons are fun. Here's 12%, 10%. Then they have this lotto. You can go in and scratch off. Oh, now I got 15%. Right. So there's a lot of things going on here that maybe they can sustain this level, but the story is a little bit different. Now, how much is this revelation of, oh my gosh, it's 30%, not 80%? How will that weigh against the fact that we're number 5 yesterday? I don't think my revelation of it being 30%, I don't think is going to make a difference in the market at all. In fact, if you look at the analysts and where they're kind of at the right place. They're kind of all at like 35 or something. And they had more modest take on the impact of Bed Bath & Beyond. I think the analysts ended up being correct. Okay. But this move to 5 on the App Store yesterday could be positive for the company. But honestly, I at this point, I'm not sure that you're going to see huge overperformance at all in Overstock until there's some sort of press release, until the earnings are reported end of October, first week of November, or unless an analyst comes out and says, oh my gosh, our app rankings are continuing to go up. Maybe now we upgrade our price target to 40 from 35, like things like that. So kind of like decreasing my upside by an order of magnitude here. Well, it's not really an order of magnitude, but instead of multiples higher, 3, 4, or 5x bagger, now I'm looking at like a 50% move, something like that over the next few months. So a little bit different of a story. So I apologize about that, but really probably no harm, no foul. I don't think the stock's going to be making any big moves either way here since we had the move on Wednesday. So you can make any adjustments you'd like to. But overall, it's still good news, just not what I thought. However, that number 5 app ranking is probably going to get a lot of attention. All right. So, what happened with CCJ? Already bouncing back up. CCJ already making a move back up. Isn't that incredible? Wow. Unbelievable what's going on there with CCJ. And we'll just have to monitor that. So, not like high conviction plays today, except short CCJ for a very short period of time. Make sure you're hedged with long uranium. Maybe flip to long CCJ if it hits those support levels. That's the ideas there. Maybe Intel has a chance of performing the market today. DWAC 10 a.m. DWAC at 10 a.m. You could see fireworks. Either we go to like $11 or maybe you get a 17 or 18. All right. Take care, guys. Storytrading.com/YouTube. Appreciate it.